Thank you very much. It's an enormous pleasure to be here. I'm sorry, Louise, I missed the dress code. I'm not naturally a troublemaker, so it was just, I missed the fine print.
Love your t-shirt!
You designed it, I didn't. It was great. When I first became involved in this 15 years ago, I got a call from a parent from the north of England who said to me, Dr. Wakefield, please do not judge me harshly, but when I die, I'm taking my child with me, because I'm the only one who loves him. And I didn't judge that mother at all. In fact, I was moved by the love that a mother must have for her child to take his life, rather than have him fall upon a society that really didn't give a damn. And it was highly motivating to me then, and it remains highly motivating to me now. But I do sincerely believe that we are coming to a turning point. We're emerging from what is a very, very dark time in the history of autism, and as a testament to that change, that rapid, dramatic change, the denial of the epidemic is given way to the acknowledgement that there is a worldwide pandemic of this disorder in developed countries. That the purely genetic model has been eroded in favor of the fact that there is an environmental catastrophe going on, whatever that might be. And finally, that the willingness of medicine to deny the instincts, the fundamental instincts of parents and their knowledge of their children, the insights that they have gained from observing their children develop and then regress, have been dismissed, and the denial of those children's rights time and time again. Those are leading to a social revolution in this country, and there is no finer place for that revolution to start. In response, rather than conduct the appropriate science, the next mass public relations campaign that is going to be waged on the people of this country comes from the American Academy of Pediatrics, funded by the pharmaceutical industry, and it is going to demonstrate to us once again the horrors, the ravages of infectious disease. And the need to do that, the need to put that out there, is not a measure of their success, but a measure of their failure.
That's right! That's right!
It is a measure of their failure to have garnered the confidence of the American people in their policies, and one must wonder why. The medical science, the medical system, the scientific system has failed you, for which I am ashamed. The science has not been done, and I have looked at the science in great detail. Some years ago, the fuse that lit this particular powder keg was the observation, the listening, the attention paid to the concerns of parents about their children. It was a very simple story. There's no rocket science here. The parent came in and said, my child was normal, then they had a vaccine, they were not normal, and they developed severe gastrointestinal problems. And the medical profession said, no, they haven't. They're autistic, they're bound to have these bowel problems. They were in fact found to have a bowel disease. The parental insight was right. And so when the parents said, my child regressed after a vaccine, we have an absolute moral and professional obligation as physicians to take that seriously, not to pander to the whims of public health or the pharmaceutical industry, but to investigate them. That is clinical medicine, and that is not to be confused, as the General Medical Council in the UK confused it, with research. That is clinical medicine that investigates patients according to their symptoms, and that had not happened. Then we've been inundated with science that says there is no relationship, and it resembles the kind of science that took 2 decades to dispel the notion that tobacco is actually not good for you.
That's right!
The attack on science that we've had to sustain is really a smokescreen. You know that, and actually they know that too. I am in fact irrelevant. It doesn't matter what happens to me. It's a smokescreen. That is why I'm able to do this, that every time a child with autism comes past my door, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. Whatever I've been through is nothing compared to what you guys have been through. it's a smokescreen. It's a futile public relations exercise that will fail, just as all of those public relations exercises have failed in the past. Our experience, if you like, is, as Voltaire, the Frenchman, said, to encourage the others. Well, it is time that science and medicine stood up for itself. Time that it had the courage to go back to its roots and put the patient before the whims of public health and the profits of the pharmaceutical industry. It is interesting that I have been blamed for the resurgence of measles in the United Kingdom. In February of 1998, when the paper came out, I made the recommendation based upon an analysis of all of the science of measles vaccine safety and MMR vaccine safety that it was appalling. And that I would recommend that parents had the choice to go back to the option of single vaccines because those studies were better than they were for the MMR. And at that time, despite Paul Offit saying they were not in his book, the single vaccines were available in the United Kingdom. Otherwise, I would not have made that recommendation. I was suggesting that parents should have the choice of how they protect their children. It was not in any way an anti-vaccine argument. Surprisingly, in September of that year, the British government withdrew the importation license for the single vaccines at a time when the demand for those vaccines was at its highest. Now, if you wanted to protect children from infectious disease like measles, why would you remove an option of how to protect children? And when I confronted the Public Health Laboratory Service, the equivalent of the CDC, with that, one of their officials said, because if we allow parents the choice of single vaccines, it will destroy our MMR program. In other words, they are putting the protection of the policy before the protection of children. And that is an utter disgrace.
Thank you.
And in the end, it's about choice. Medicine has to choose. Does it serve the patients or does it serve the pharmaceutical industry? It's a simple choice. If you serve the pharmaceutical industry, get out. Get out. But I'm not going. Science has a very difficult choice to choose between fidelity or collusion. And parents must have choice, must demand the right to choose. That is your right. That is our right. That is what we must demand for the sake of the future of this country and the world. Thank you very much.